Hello, mighty companions. I'm feeling in the mood to read and go over a very important section of the Course in Miracles. We're going to go to the back of the book, and we're in Manual for Teachers. And we're going to look at what are the characteristics of God's teachers, and then we're going to go through them. Headings are trust, development of trust, honesty, tolerance, gentleness, joy, defenselessness, generosity, patience, faithfulness, and open-mindedness. Don't know how far we'll get through in this recording, but we'll begin. The reason I'm kind of drawn to this today is that I have spent the last few weeks accepting that's what I'm doing here on this planet this time. I want to fully embody becoming a teacher of God. And I believe that I'm here at this time and place to do just that, because we're living in a very troubled world when we look out there, and I do believe that we're heading into some very ugly, troubled times on this planet, especially in this country, America. And I believe that I am in preparation for what's to come. And to be in preparation for what's to come, I'm going to need to fully embody these characteristics of God's teachers so that I can stay sane and be the love and the light that's needed in these times. So let's take a look at what are the characteristics of God's teachers. The surface traits of God's teachers are not at all alike. They do not look alike to the body's eyes. They come from vastly different backgrounds. Their experiences of the world vary greatly, and their superficial personalities are quite distinct. Nor at the beginning stages of their function as teachers of God have they as yet acquired the deeper characteristics that will establish them as what they are. God gives special gifts to his teachers because they have a special role in his plan for the atonement, the at-one-ment. Their specialness is, of course, only temporary, set in time as a means of leading out of time. These special gifts, born in the holy relationship toward which the teaching-learning situation is geared, become characteristic of all teachers of God who have advanced in their own learning. In this respect, they are all alike. All differences among the sons of God are temporary. Nevertheless, in time it can be said that the advanced teachers of God have the following characteristics. So here we go. We're going to look at number one, which is trust. I have read all of these before, but like everything with the Course, every time you read it again, it speaks to you differently. And I did get to understand on the last time I went through these characteristics of God's teachers that the definitions of words like trust and honesty and tolerance are a much different meaning as to what the world has taught us. Shocker. So let's move on into trust. Trust. This is the foundation on which their ability to fulfill their function rests. This is the foundation on which God's teachers' ability to fulfill their function rests. Perception is the result of learning. In fact, perception is learning, because cause and effect are never separated. The teachers of God have trust in the world because they have learned it is not governed by the laws the world made up. It is governed by a power that is in them, but not of them. It is this power that keeps all things safe. It is through this power that the teachers of God look on a forgiven world. When this power has once been experienced, it is impossible to trust one's own petty strength again. Who would attempt to fly with the tiny wings of a sparrow when the mighty power of an eagle has been given him? Who would attempt to fly with the tiny wings of a sparrow when the mighty power of an eagle has been given her? And who would place his faith in the shabby offerings of the ego when the gifts of God are laid before him? What is it that induces them to make the shift? Okay, so the next section after trust is development of trust. So I think we'll keep on reading, because they obviously go together. We need to learn how to develop trust as a teacher of God. First, the teachers of God must go through what might be called a period of undoing. This need not be painful, but it usually is so experienced as painful. It seems as if things have been taken away, and it is rarely understood initially that their lack of value is merely being recognized. How can lack of value be perceived unless the perceiver is in a position where he must see things in a different light? He is not yet at a point at which he can make the shift entirely internally. And so the plan will sometimes call for changes in what seem to be external circumstances. These changes are always helpful. When the teacher of God has learned that much, he goes on to the second stage. I think I've definitely been through a period of undoing. Next, the teacher of God must go through a period of sorting out. This is always somewhat difficult, because having learned that the changes in his life are always helpful, he must now decide all things on the basis of whether they increase the helpfulness or hamper it. He will find that many, if not most of the things that she valued before will merely hinder her ability to transfer what she has learned to new situations as they arise. Because she has valued what is really valueless, she will not generalize the lesson for fear of loss and sacrifice. It takes great learning to understand that all things, events, encounters, and circumstances are helpful. It is only to the extent to which they are helpful that any degree of reality should be accorded them in this world of illusion, the word value can apply to nothing else. The third stage, through which the teacher of God must go, can be called a period of relinquishment. If this is interpreted as giving up the desirable, it will engender enormous conflict. Few teachers of God escape this distress entirely. Few teachers of God escape this distress entirely. There is, however, no point in sorting out the valuable from the valueless unless the next obvious step is taken. Therefore, the period of overlap is apt to be one in which the teacher of God feels called upon to sacrifice his own best interests on behalf of truth. She has not realized as yet how wholly impossible such a demand would be. She can learn this only as she actually does give up the value less. Through this, she learns that where she anticipated grief, she finds a happy lightheartedness instead. Where she thought something was asked of her, she finds a gift bestowed on her. Now comes a period of settling down. This is a quiet time in which the teacher of God rests a while in reasonable peace. Am I there yet? She consolidates her learning. I feel like I am consolidating my learning because I've been learning a lot. Now she begins to see the transfer value of what she has learned. Its potential is literally staggering. And the teacher of God is now at the point in her progress at which she sees in it her whole way out. Give up what you do not want, Tamsin. Give up what you do not want, Tamsin. Give up what you do not want, Tamsin. Give up what you do not want, Tamsin, and keep what you do want, Tamsin. Give up what you do not want, Tamsin, and keep what you do want, Tamsin. Give up what you do not want and keep what you do want, Tamsin. How simple is the obvious, and how easy to do. The teacher of God needs this period of respite. She has not come as far as she thinks. Yet when she is ready to go on, she goes with mighty companions beside her. Now she rests a while and gathers them before going on. Tamsin will not go on from here alone. So from the period of settling down, once we integrate and fully embody our learning, and accept that we have not come as far as we think, we gather our mighty companions and we do not go on alone from here. That's good news. The next stage is indeed a period of unsettling. Now must the teacher of God understand that she did not really know what was valuable and what was valueless. All that she really learned so far was that she did not want the valueless, and that she did not want... All that she really learned so far was that she did not want the valueless, and that she did want the valuable. Yet her own sorting out was meaningless in teaching her the difference. The idea of sacrifice, so central to her own thought system, had made it impossible for her to judge. She thought she learned willingness, but now she sees that she does not know what the willingness is for. And now she must attain a state that may remain impossible to reach for a long, long time. That doesn't sound very encouraging. And now she must attain a state that may remain impossible to reach for a long, long time. He does say may, a state that may remain impossible to reach for a long, long time. The word there is may. So that's a little encouraging. So the teacher of God, Tamsin, thought she learned willingness, but now she sees that she does not know what the willingness is for. And now she must attain a state that may remain impossible to reach for a long, long time. She must learn to lay all judgment aside. Tamsin must learn to lay all judgment aside. And it doesn't say here that we must learn to lay some judgment aside, or a little judgment aside, or some judgments aside. I must learn to lay all my judgments aside, all of them. And I need ask only what I really want in every circumstance. Were not each step in this direction so heavily reinforced, it would be hard indeed. Okay, so that period of unsettling, we now must attain a state that may remain impossible to reach for a long, long time. She must learn to lay all judgment aside and ask only what he really wants in every circumstance. And finally, there is a period of achievement. Woohoo! Achievement. It is here that learning is consolidated. Now what was seen as merely shadows before becomes solid gains, to be counted on in all emergencies as well as tranquil times. Indeed, the tranquility is their result, the outcome of honest learning, consistency of thought and full transfer. This is the stage of real peace, for here is heaven's state fully reflected. From here, the way to heaven is open and easy. In fact, it is here. Who would go anywhere if peace of mind is already complete? And who would seek to change tranquility for something more desirable? What could be more desirable than this? So we just did trust and the development of trust. And in that section of development of trust, we have a period of undoing, a period of sorting out, a period of relinquishment, a period of settling down, a period of unsettling, and finally, a period of achievement, which is where I want to be, which is where I'm going. And I really don't intend for that other stage, the period of unsettling, to last a long, long time. I don't intend for that. So, if I don't intend for that, I'm going to have to go balls deep into practicing the characteristics of God's teachers. I think we'll cover the second characteristic of God's teachers, which is honesty, and then we'll wrap it up for today, and then I'll continue on with the rest tomorrow. Okay, so this is Yeshua's definition of honesty and how that works for a teacher of God. All of the traits of God's teachers rest on trust. Okay, so all these to follow rest upon the first one, which is the development of trust. Once that has been achieved, the others cannot fail to follow. Only the trusting can afford honesty, for only they can see its value. Honesty does not apply only to what you say. The term actually means consistency. There is nothing you say that contradicts what you think or do. No thought opposes any other thought, no act belies your word, and no word lacks agreement with another. Such are the truly honest. At no level are they in conflict with themselves. Therefore it is impossible for them to be in conflict with anyone or anything. The peace of mind which the advanced teachers of God experience is largely due to their perfect honesty. It is only the wish to deceive that makes for war. No one at one with himself can even conceive of conflict. Conflict is the inevitable result of self-deception, and self-deception is dishonesty. There is no challenge to a teacher of God. Challenge implies doubt, and the trust on which God's teachers rest secure makes doubt impossible. Therefore, they can only succeed. In this, as in all things, they are honest. They can only succeed because they never do their will alone. They choose for all mankind, for all the world and all things in it, for the unchanging and the unchangeable, beyond appearances, and for the Son of God and his Creator. How could they not succeed? They choose in perfect honesty, sure of their choice as of themselves. So what I'm reading there is that basically I cannot develop my honesty if I don't develop first my trust. And that once I've developed trust, all of the other characteristics for God's teachers are sure to follow. And that honesty doesn't just apply to what I say. Honesty is consistent. And at no level am I ever in conflict with myself, which means that I have to be completely honest with myself. And if I'm at one with myself, I cannot even conceive of conflict. God's teachers choose for all mankind, for all the world and all things in it. They choose in perfect honesty, sure of their choice as of themselves. So there we go, brothers and sisters. Next recording will cover tolerance, gentleness, joy, defenselessness, generosity, patience, faithfulness, and open-mindedness. Wow, I've got a lot to do. See you on the next one.